Hello everyone, you are welcome back again to my channel. My name is Joy. Thanks for stopping by again, and in today's video I'll be talking about ways you can move to Canada or ways you can immigrate to Canada. But before I go ahead, I would like you to hit the subscribe button if you have not done so, and don't also forget to like, comment and share this video. You know, when people say they want to immigrate to Canada, what comes to their mind is express entry route, which is not wrong and which is the commonest way you can immigrate. Then provincial nomination, which is very true. Going through the study route, very correct. But what most persons do is that they concentrate on those first three I mentioned. In fact, we have more than 10 ways to immigrate to Canada, and become permanent resident. So follow me to the end of this video so that you can hear all the routes. Then you can now explore. The more the ways or the routes, the better the chances you have. Because sometimes you may want to go through maybe express entry. Meanwhile, there's even an easier option for you. And I also want to let you know that I'm not an immigration agent, or I'm not an expert. So based on personal experience and based on research, I can tell you some of the things to do to help you with this your immigration plan, but I am not. So the first one is the express entry route, which almost everybody knows about. Everybody knows express entry route is the commonest, is the fastest, okay? And this route has three categories. There's when you talk about the FSW, which is the Federal Skilled Workers route. We have the FST, which is the Federal Skilled Trade route, and I think the CEC, that's the Canadian Experience route. That's route that does not require proof of fund because of course you have the Canadian experience. So I'm just going to be summarizing each, and then in this express entry route, you will need to create a profile, and then you will be among those in the pool. And when it's time for selection and your CRS score is high enough, you'll be selected amongst others. And when you are selected, you can now apply for your PR. So that's the summary of express entry route. So the second route is the PNP route, which is the provincial nomination route. From the name, you can hear provincial. So in this route, you need to be nominated by a province. Then after you get your nomination, you have extra 600 points added to the one in the express entry pool already. That is after you must have accepted your nomination, so it will add up to the score you already had in the express entry pool. And with that, when the next selection comes, you will be selected depending on what they need. So that's the second route. The third is Quebec. So Quebec, they operate their immigration process on their own. They don't need express entry to function. There are some routes that will tell you to meet the federal express entry system requirement, but this one is they run their immigration process by themselves. So this will favor the French speakers because they speak mainly French in Quebec. So if you want to go through this route, you must be a French speaker or you must understand French. Then this you have to go to their sites to know when they need people, because obviously they also take people based on the jobs in demand and based on what they really want per time. So you have to be vast about this. Like I said, they operate their own economic immigration process, or immigration process rather. So it's also another way you can immigrate to Canada to become a PR. The fourth one is the employer-driven pilot programs. So from the name pilot programs, I can liken this to Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. That's the AIPP. This pilot program covers 4 Atlantic provinces, such as the New Brunswick, the Newfoundland and Labrador. We have the Nova Scotia, and lastly the Prince Edward Island. So this is employer-driven pilot program. It's more like a rural program where communities do need people, and they have a quota, so they can just tell you we need so number of people and so place. It could be health related occupation, you understand, more like you going to communities to get job. Of course, you will meet some requirements, and I talked about it, I think, in two of my videos on this channel. So it's a pilot program, and it has a way you have to apply, and you also need to meet with the federal express entry system requirements. Yes, so meaning you have to create your express entry profile. So when you create your express entry profile, you will go and Google the rural communities in these provinces, okay? Because that is the trick now. If you are going to the major towns in all these provinces, they may not really be willing to accept people or new immigrants. So when you take advantage of those rural communities in this province I just mentioned, so you look for the jobs in demand in these provinces. No, that's how you start. Then beyond you looking for jobs in these provinces, you look at the population and see if they need more people. All these things Google can tell you. So you will look, like some will tell you um, they need you in a province where, or in a community where the population is less than 100,000, you know. So those are the little requirements that you need to check out for. Then they will tell you the age requirements, they will tell you what they need. So this is also another route. And once you can meet with the requirements, they will give you like a letter of you see, there's a way they call it. It looks like a nomination letter. It looks like a nomination certificate. I'm trying to think of the name they call it, like a letter to show that you have been accepted, something like that. So that is what you will take to your express entry profile. It works like nomination, but it's not nomination. It's called pilot program. Okay, so that's also one of the ways you can immigrate to Canada. The fifth one, which is the startup visa route, is also one of the ways you can immigrate to Canada. If you have a business you want to establish in Canada, then this is the route which you would take. Although you need to have a work permit first, because obviously you are trying to start up a business, so it's related to work. So you need a work permit that will enable you to, execute this. And again, you need to have business idea. You can't say you want to go start up a business without a business idea. Every documentation that has got to do with the business you want to create, you need to provide them. You need your tax, the amount you be paying your workers and the rest. So it's one of the ways you can immigrate to Canada. And it's also for those that hold bar, you understand. The next one is self-employed programs, and this is common in Quebec. So this is different from the skilled workers. This set of people are those that have their own programs, like their own profession. Let me explain this. For example, if you are an engineer here in Canada, you are licensed, then you first attain EIT, that's engineering training, then you become a PENG, that's a professional engineer. So those set of people can just be self-employed. Understand? They can be self-employed. They may just be a consultant. So this one is different from skilled worker. So you can actually become this, and you'll be given visa as a self-employed program person. So you can be given visa as a self-employed person. This is different from skilled worker. So like I said, it's common in Quebec. You can just go there and start up something on your own, and you'll be employing people. You understand? The next one is provincial business programs. From the name provincial, it's very similar to PNP, which is provincial nominee program. So what this is all about is you take advantage of the provinces where you can become an entrepreneur or a business person, and you will do the necessary process, such as you providing your documents, you will do some registrations. Obviously, when you want to become a business person here, like a business that you don't want to be hiding to do, you need to follow the due process. You need to get some license, just do the normal things. I think I've talked about 7 ways already by which you can immigrate to Canada. So the next one is the family class. This is when we talk about the spouses, the partners, the children. And this can be done within Canada or outside of Canada. There are some people, they found their spouse in Canada, and they can apply to become permanent residents. But if the case is maybe one spouse is in Canada, either the husband or the wife is in Canada, via family class route, you can bring in your spouse and bring in your children. In the meantime, you guys can apply for work permits, which you can use to hold your body for a while before you get your permanent residency. And if you are bringing in your children, they should be children that are 22 years and below. And these children should not have spouses. So that is how it works. So if you're actually coming in with your children, they shouldn't have any spouse and they should not be above 22 years. And the good thing is that if they are not very young, they can also get work permits. Okay, so they can also work depending on when you get your PR. Hope I was able to explain this. So let's go to the next route. The next one is the parents and grandparents route. This was like a lottery system, and for some times now they've not been conducting this because a lot of controversies. So how this works is that the sponsor will indicate an interest in the pool, and then randomly they will conduct draws and select whoever they want to select, and that will be a way they can apply for the person to come over. But like I said, there have been so much controversies, and I think this stopped 2020, so it's been a while. So people now go through the super visa route now in case you want to bring in your parents and grandparents to Canada. I think they usually conduct this during fall. You know, most of our grandparents, they don't like cold regions, so I think they put it around that summer time when the weather will be very okay for them. So that's also one of the ways you can immigrate to Canada. The next one is the temporary residence route. You know, all that I've been saying since it's the permanent residence route. Is the grandparents residence route? I'm not sure. So this is the temporary residence route. This is when you talk about the study route, the postgraduate route. This one is self-explained, and you don't really need the Expressentry system for this, because obviously the Expressentry is for those that want to become PRs. So this study route is also a very easy way to immigrate to Canada. Just that recently, for those that want to come via study routes, there have been so much policies. Well, some have been favorable, but most of the policies have not been favorable. E.g., the tuition fee you need to settle as a student here has been doubled with even an additional money. So it's not easy to come through this study route except you have enough funds. And then also looking at the policies lately for those that want to come into colleges here, that they cannot bring their spouses, you know. So many things, but it doesn't affect those doing masters, that's postgraduate or PhD. For now, we don't know, and there has been caps on international students that are to be taken into universities or colleges. So lately, that's what has been happening. But the truth is also one of the ways you can immigrate to Canada. So how does this work? First of all, you decide on the course you want to study. You check out for schools that offer the course you want to study. But you know what? Nowadays, most people are not even concerned about the course they want to come and study. They'll say, as long as it can take me to Canada. But that's not how it works, my brother, my sister. You need to, if you are the one that likes career, you need to really settle down and think about this whole thing. And again, you also need to consider the province. You know, there are some provinces that can favor you and those provinces that are affordable for you to live in, because you want to minimize costs and maximize profit. So you don't need to go to a place where the cost of living will be so high. That's it. So you need to consider all those things, and you need to also consider the tuition fee and the rest of it for you to be able to go through this route. The good thing about this route is that if not for the new law that came in for those that want to come in via undergraduate route, you'll be able to bring in your spouses, your dependents. But because of this new policy, if you are coming in as an undergrad, you can't bring in your spouse, you will just come alone. But for those that want to do postgraduates, the policies will not affect you. Then there's what we call letter of attestation that recently IRCC tried to explain. Maybe if you want to go to a particular school, you will get a letter of attestation, blah, 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 blah. But that's all by the way. So what I'm trying to say is that you can immigrate via study routes. You can also immigrate to Canada via tourist visa. Yeah, so tourist visa is a temporary resident visa because from the name tourist, you want to just travel for tourism and come back. And there are some necessary conditions you need to meet. First, you need to show that you have enough fund that can take care of you while you are in Canada. Then again, you need to prove to them that you'll return to your home country after your tourism. How do you prove this? First, you need to show that you've bought a return ticket. Second, you need to show that you have a valid job back home. And how to prove this is by you getting a letter from your manager or your boss from your company, then presenting it that I have a valid job or I just want to come for tourism and go back. Then again, you also need to show that you have family back home, maybe your wife, maybe your husband, maybe you've got children, maybe you've got parents and grandparents like that. So those are ties. Then you also need to show that you have properties back home. Maybe you've got lands, you've got houses. You know, you really need to prove to them that you are not willing to stay forever, but just that you just came for a while. Although some people will actually come for tourism and not go back. And that's because when they give you tourist visa, it's usually valid for 6 months, yeah. Even if you apply for 3 weeks or 1 month, but normally they will give you 6 months visa. So within the 6 months, some people are lucky, some people are favored to get a job, which is totally fine. Then if you get a job that can provide you work permits before the expiration of your 6 months visa, then it's good and fine. From work permit, you can start, doing the necessary things and you could stay back. And when you get your work permit, and depending on your employer, following the due process or the normal process, you can even bring your family over. Yes, so many people have come through visiting or tourist visa. Another way you can immigrate to Canada is through the Temporary Foreign Work Permit Program, also known as the TFWP. So how this works is that you get a job, you search for job maybe on Job Bank or maybe through Google, through LinkedIn. I have a video on that, how to get a job from outside of Canada. You can check it out. So when you've gotten a job, you will look for employers that have LMIA. You know, LMIA is that document an employer needs to have in order to employ foreign workers. Yes. So these are the things you need to check out for. Don't just accept any job because there are a lot of scammers out there. So when you get a job from outside of Canada, it's also another way you can migrate to Canada because there's what we call job offer route. Once you can get a job offer and you have your employment letter, you can then create an Expressentry profile and go through the job offer route. How does this work? After creating your Expressentry profile, you would have your CRS score. That's after putting your details, the requirements, showing your name, your age, your travel document. So there's a place it will ask you if you have a job offer. Then you click yes. Then when you click yes, you know you really need to have the job offer because you'll be asked to prove it. When you can do that, you will get 200 points automatically. Just the way PNP gives you 600 points. If it's job offer, you get 200 points. So let's assume you had 350 as your CRS score before. Add 200 to the 350. That's about 550, which can give you ITA. That's considering the trend now. You know, the trend has been 5 for the something, and now you have 550. So you have at least an opportunity to be selected. Okay. The last but not the least is you immigrating via the refugee route. So this should be your last resort when you are thinking of immigrating to Canada. It shouldn't be the first thing you should think of. I've just given you a brief summary of each of the ways you can come to Canada. Okay, so thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope this video was helpful. If you did enjoy this video, kindly give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. Don't forget to comment, share, and like this video. See you all in my next one. Bye.